From the heartland of America, focused on God, family, and country, the mouthpiece of the Midwest. This is Dale Carter's America.
Welcome back to Dale Carter's America, the podcast. I'm Dale Carter. He is Kurt Wheeler. We're in the Raytown studios today, and we got a lot of stuff to get to today. You know, I put these notes together every week, and usually they go 4 pages, Kurt. This one went 5.
Oh, boy.
So we may be here for a while. So buckle in. And you're going to tell us all the ways that folks who stumble onto this fun little podcast where we seek the truth every week can share it, consume it, and make it known to the world.
Yes. Stumble on down to the like button and stumble to the comment section and stumble a comment into the comment section and then stumble that subscribe button. If you're on YouTube or Rumble watching the video version, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And then make sure to stumble into the Facebook comment section and gripe.
Yeah, well, people do that for sure. Stumble is the word of the day, apparently. And if you've had a stumble in life, you know, I hope that you are insured by State Farm, and I hope further you've got my guy, Bob Watson. He's at 712 Main Street in Blue Springs, 816-229-7878. He's an insurance agent for State Farm. That's the brand that you know, the name that you know, and you don't have to just be in Blue Springs, Missouri, where Bob's office is. He's licensed in Missouri and Kansas, auto, home, life, renter's insurance, boats, recreational vehicles. If it's important enough to you to insure it, you need the best insurance out there, and that's State Farm, and Bob Watson has been with State Farm for over 50 years. He's been my personal State Farm agent for over 30 years.
I'd say congratulations.
Call and get a rate quote, bundle your home and car insurance, and save. And like a good neighbor, State Farm and Bob Watson are there. So it is a crazy world. My world is really crazy right now because, as you know, I'm running for the 5th District of Jackson County and the legislature and all that. So I'm following that closely. We're coming close to the primary, which is coming up on August the 4th. There's news out of the courthouse seemingly every day. And when we look at what's going on there, it looks like a soap opera. I mean, every day there is something. The latest on the Manny Abarca scandal. Manny's been on this podcast before. I've had coffee with him. He seems like a nice guy, right? Mm-hmm. We don't agree on a lot politically because he's definitely a hardcore Democrat. But just the drama and the dysfunction that's coming out of that courthouse, voters everywhere throughout Jackson County, particularly in northeastern Jackson County, where I'm going to represent, they're just like, just give us normal. We just want normal.
What's the deal with Manny again?
Oh, the latest. Let's see. He claims that an aide to one of the other legislators offered him a $10,000 bribe to vote a certain way on a project.
Okay.
Yeah. That project was initially offered by Donna Payton, who is also on the Jackson County legislature. Manny says he went to the sheriff with it. The sheriff says those details were never given. And there's an investigation going on. Manny is the chair. He calls for a closed-door meeting. And, the drama is just out of the pores of that courthouse. So Sean Smith, who's a guy that we know, friend of this program, he is the vice chair, and he and the remaining quorum, they oust Manny as chair. Mm. Now, you know, Manny's also running for county executive. He suspended his campaign. He said he was going to deal with all this stuff. And now the latest chapter is he's been ousted as the chairman. And so now he's back to running for executive. And voters out there are just going crazy, right? So I thought of a show that was on television during the 70s, which just perfectly sums up what Jackson County is going through. In fact, when the show was on the air, it always ended with a bunch of questions like, will Manny run for county executive? What's this going to happen? What's going to happen here? And the answer was always, find out on the next episode of Soap.
This is the story of two sisters, Jessica Tate and Mary Campbell. The Tates have a lot of money and a lot of problems. Chester Tate has problems with the health.
Benson, how many times do I have to tell you I am a diabetic? I can't have sugar.
Oh, I keep thinking it's salt you can't have.
I can't have salt either.
Ain't no salt in there.
Everyone in this house is one way or another totally deficient as a human being, and I get the zit.
The Tate children have their own problems just growing up.
Is it true you didn't come home last night? Your sister said you didn't come home. Who were you out with?
You don't know him.
Neither do you.
I guess I'll go for my tennis lesson.
And Jessica Tate's problems are just beginning.
Oh, my God.
The Campbells, on the other hand, have very little money, but just as many problems.
Danny, leave that bunch of Italian gangsters.
Everyone's always picking on the Italians. Anytime they find a dead guy in Brooklyn, right away, it's the Italians. They find a body in the trunk of a guy's car, it's the Italians. Well, I'm sick of it. I'm sick.
But you're not even Italian.
Don't tell me I'm not Italian!
I love you. So there's nothing in the world so terrible that I wouldn't understand.
Mary and Bert have problems communicating.
How in the world can I tell you I killed your husband and you'd understand?
While Jody has a problem that he rather enjoys.
Why don't you offer him some Fruit Loops? It'd be very appropriate.
Listen, you animal. I told you before
That guy looks familiar. Who's this guy?
Which one?
On the left there?
It's Billy Crystal.
Bill Crystal. Okay, yeah.
brother is not the fruit. He's a practical joker with a wonderful sense of humor.
The Tates and the Campbells. They face their problems squarely.
I'm considering getting a sex change operation.
Make it pass now.
And call it just another day in Connecticut. We call it soap.
Boy, this is a lot for one day.
That's Jackson County in a nutshell. It's the old 70s show, Soap. So, door-to-door campaigning is going well. Last night we had our candidate forum for districts 4, 5, and 6. I may get into that a little bit later on here with some of the stuff that happened there. But the people who I'm greeting at the door all seem to have a familiar theme. The assessments. Fix the assessments. They want to know, where's our money? What are you spending our money on? And that's what I want to do. I want to fix Jackson County, take the drama out of it, and just work behind the scenes with people who want to get the job done. Get down to our basics, right? Blocking and tackling, as I called it last night on the forum. We need to get back to those basics. What are our core competencies as a county? Let's do that right. And if we do that right, then maybe we do other stuff. I wouldn't want to. I just want to basically do what a county government is supposed to do. Other people want to add this, add that, tax this, tax that. That's not where I am. I wonder where Dan Tarwater will be on all this. He is one of the Democrats running for county executive. As I said last night on the forum, we've had Democrats on this thing. You know, Phil LeBota's been on here several times. We had Manny Abarca on. We're going to have Dan Tarwater on. He's one of the favorites, I think, to win that Democratic nomination on August the 4th, and we want to hear his views on what he would do as the Jackson County executive. So he is going to be on next week's show that will drop a week from Saturday, right before that primary election. So make sure that you check that out so you can see, you know, if you want to give Dan Tarwater a vote. Our next fun event is coming up on the 28th. So as this episode drops, it's the last episode before we'll have our fun Taco Tuesday event at the Elks Lodge in Blue Springs from 5 until 7 o'clock. Please come. We're going to have music. We're going to have fun. Hopefully we're going to raise some money, get our street team together so that we're ready to go out in swarms of knocking. It's not just small groups here and there. We need a lot of people because District 5 is a very large geographic area. As we lay it out on the map and I do some door knocking, I come back and I've got this big map in my dining room of what District 5 looks like, and I go with a highlighter to hit the neighborhoods that I've door knocked, and it's like, man, there's a lot to do here, and we got to get it done before November. So
is this
it's the one that looks like an elephant.
Is this you with your map?
No, yeah, that's me with my map. No question about it. That was me at about 8:30 last night after that forum. I got to give my closing remarks first, and what I said going into the closing remarks was, gosh, I'm glad you're letting me go first on this because we're 2 hours past my bedtime. And so I popped an Ambien, and I was right out of bed at 1:45 this morning, and this podcast taping on Thursday is the last thing on my schedule. So no bumps today. We're just going to go through it and have lots of fun. Read about my campaign at dalecarter.us, and if you can help us by popping some money in there, because the money being exchanged here, Bill Baird, who was mayor of Lee's Summit, I pulled up his Missouri Ethics Commission reports from the last quarter. I mean, he's getting chunks of money from unions. $15,000 from this union, $15,000 over here. He's got like $85,000 in the bank. Now, what I wonder when you see big chunks like that coming from different organizations, what are they going to want for that?
Yeah.
Certainly that's not just good government. I'm going to do good government for you. I think there may be some strings attached to that.
Right.
We will see if he wins because he's one of the folks who's running for that nomination as well. So you got $20. I mean, that'll help me get a couple of signs. 25, 50, got 100. We'll take it. dalecarter.us. Click the donate button and help our campaign here, especially if you live in Jackson County, because I'm running to work for you. So the folks who work for you to keep your family safe is Clay Como Shooters. 69 Highway in Clay Como between I-35 and I-435. Exercise your Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is alive and well at Dale Carter's America. Whether you're a hunter, weekend sportsman, or you really feel like, somebody may come through your door, you hit 911, and it's going to be a while before the cops get there. The key thing is to find the right weapon for what you want to get done, what your abilities are. There are a lot of different things to choose from, and my friends at Clay Como Shooters will definitely help you get that done. They're law enforcement, former law enforcement. They train the cops. They can train you. They buy and sell guns, all major brands with ammo to go along with them. Not a big box store. These guys are friends of mine. They're a neighborhood business looking out for you. An affordable indoor range to help with your training as well. That is Clay Como Shooters, 816-452-4867. Start training. And then when the proverbial clock continues to move forward and you get closer to 65, or you got somebody in your family who's 65 and you start thinking about Medicare, what's Medicare going to look like? I just had a meeting this week with my retirement guy, and it's interesting to see that clock ticking, and you see it on a big screen in his office that 65 is coming for me too, and that Medicare is going to be a part of what I'm going to end up doing. It's why I've got a guy like Kirk Doris on speed dial, because I'm constantly talking to him. Which part, which plan, which supplemental am I going to have? How does this all tie together? And how do you get paid for it? Because I'm not paying him. He gets paid by the insurance companies to direct you and guide you to the best possible plan for your outcome. And then every year, you can go back into it and you can make revisions to it. And Kirk's a good guy to know along those roads as well. He's been doing it for a very long time. 816-701-6661. His office is at 3600 South Nolan Road in Independence. They serve the entire metro area. And if you can't get to him, he's going to get to you. Terrific guy. I've called the next segment here Save America, because the Save America Act is something that still has a heartbeat. I don't know how much of a heartbeat it's got, but it's got somewhat of a heartbeat. Did you watch any of Donald Trump's speech?
What do you think?
The network's panned. I don't think you did.
I did not.
And I didn't. Yeah. Because
there's so many speeches, and it's like kind of a boy who cried wolf situation, because every time he wants to give a speech, he's like, this is going to be huge. You don't miss it. You're going to tune in. Then he just gets on and, talks about how great of a job he's doing or whatever. And
are you saying he's full of hype?
It's a lot of hot air, I guess you could say.
And I think even his own crowd is starting to turn on him a bit here. I saw a poll about the war in Iran, which I know you've been against since the beginning, that even the people who supported it in the beginning, they're like, okay, come on. We're used to this now. We are not wired as we were in World War II. Mm-hmm. In World War II, it was like, we got to do it at whatever cost. It took 4.5 years. There's no way any president's going to get 4.5 years to execute anything like this again. So, wrap it up, move on. Are they going to get a nuke? Probably not. So our gas prices are going back up again. They went up like another 25 cents overnight last night. We're closing in on $4 a gallon here in Kansas City. And the folks in the heartland here, it's like, it's enough, right? You're running the risk of losing the midterm, giving it back to the Democrats. I still think there's probably a better than 50% chance that happens, and that's not good. So he goes on TV, he makes this big speech, he says he's got all these documents, blah, 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 blah. And the networks are to the point now, it used to be when the President of the United States asked for time on the networks, they gave it to him, all of them. They would carry it from wire to wire. And now with Donald Trump, they're not doing it. In fact, they're going on TV and telling you why they're not doing it.
He did the same thing as this network, CNN, last night. The newsrooms monitored the speech, evaluated what was actually newsworthy, looked at the documents Trump was declassifying, and then reported on what happened. NBC and ABC both went on the air with special reports to explain that the speech had happened and to summarize what Trump had said, but most importantly, to contextualize it and fact check it, just as CNN did. Now, Trump was ominously claiming that the networks were part of a plot, but the only real plot here, the only intention is to remain reality-based and truth-based. Trump's election lies led to violence after the 2020 election. So this is a subject that really does warrant extra care and attention by journalists. And frankly, some network executives felt that it would be dangerous to just air Trump's speech live, in full, unedited, without knowing what he was going to say ahead of time. That's where we are in America. And we have been here before. I remember during some of Trump's COVID-19 briefings in 2020, he did the same.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he still had a job.
Yeah, I think they brought him back.
Okay.
I think you feel this way. I felt this way for a long time. I wish he'd stop relitigating 2020. 2020's over. And, I heard a great commentary on this from a conservative who said if Donald Trump had his wish, if he won in 2020, he would have been dealing with the after effect of COVID and he'd be out. Right now, we'd be dealing with whoever the next president of the United States is. As it was, he had 4 years to reflect and come in after Joe Biden's disastrous presidency.
Yeah, I think there's an argument to be made that he has a better, that's what you're saying, he has a better opportunity now that he had 4 years not in the White House than he would have had if he had two back-to-back terms. And it makes it even more upsetting that we're not getting what we asked for.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's a huge opportunity.
So this doesn't change anything, and I wish he'd just stop talking about it. Although, I will say this, and if you want to call me an election denier, if the left wants to jump on my ass and say, election denier, you can't change this math. That Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. got over 81 million votes. Where did this come from? When you look at a graph of the winner in the presidential election, it sticks out like a sore thumb. They're all bouncing along in the 60 million range, and all of a sudden, in an election year where Donald Trump got more votes in 2020 than he got in 2016, somehow Joe Biden got 81 million, more than any president in history.
Yep.
Think about that. Joe Biden. I put this video in here just to remind you who we're talking about. That's Joe Biden. And he's just like, that's enough. You can cut that. But he's just standing there and he's zoned out. And I know I like going back to this video because it has that bearded guy in a sequin dress, which I just like to go back to.
You really like that, huh?
I really like that. So, and what the left will do now is anytime Trump nods off in a boring meeting, and I've been known to do that, it's like, oh, look at this, 25th Amendment. Meanwhile, this guy was president for 4 years, and he would just he'd walk off. Didn't know where he was going. Mm-hmm. He stood there. You cannot tell me that guy looks like he's with it in that video.
Right.
Right? Okay. So more about Joe Biden. This guy had been running for president since 1987. What year were you born, Kurt?
92.
Yeah. So he was running for president 5 years before you were born. He always tried to be president. Obama comes along, picks him for VP. I'm not sure why. Do you remember why? Other than he wanted like a white guy to counterbalance so that America would feel better.
Yeah, I think he was just like
an old white guy.
Yeah.
Obama doesn't endorse him in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you? I mean, Ronald Reagan had George H.W. Bush. When Reagan was done with 2 terms, he squarely got behind his vice president. Obama didn't do that. Again, this is the guy that got more votes than any president in history. We're after the Biden presidency. He can't find any money to build a presidential library.
I didn't know this.
Nobody wants anything to do with him, right? And we're led to believe that he wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? I mean, I almost want to buy it just to, because this is the guy famous for the auto pen.
Mm-hmm.
Who wrote the book? We don't believe Joe Biden wrote the book. I mean, I think we need to say that just to keep it real. I mean, we're not going to go back and relitigate 2020, but again, you've got that curve where everything's come back to normal since that election, but there were 81 million votes for Joe Biden. You're never going to get me to believe that. None of it passes the sniff test. But we need to focus on the future, right? Biden, while he was president, he opened the floodgates. Bill Clinton and Barack Obama basically gave very strong speeches about the border. You can't have a country without a border. They were where we are relative to the border. Barack Obama was turning them away at the border. Joe, famously in that debate, said, "Come on in. We want you to come on in." And they did, wearing Biden-Harris t-shirts. I'm never going to forget that. Okay? So there is a crack in this wall of denial because the Democrats have been a blue wall in blue states, and they've said this is not happening. They're not registering to vote. You're just making all this stuff up. Well, I believe that New Jersey is going to be the crack in the Democrat wall of denial.
In June of 2023, nearly 3 years before I became governor, a serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state. When New Jerseyans applied for a driver's license or identification at the MVC, they were asked if they wanted to register to vote. In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway. In June.
Now, this is one state. This is 6,600 people who voluntarily said, "Hey, that's a mistake. I'm not a citizen." How many people didn't come forward and say that it was a mistake? Think about that. One state, New Jersey, a fairly small state. How widespread is this? I never was a fan of the motor voter thing. And that's something the Democrats
What's that again?
Jammed through. That basically when you go to get your driver's license, you can register to vote.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. What the Save America Act says is, if you're not registered to vote yet, the Democrats are spilling so many lies about this. They're trying to get you to believe that, okay, no one's registered to vote now, and before the midterm, we have to all go back and re-register. That's not true. Most states get this and understand it. Kansas and Missouri, the 2 states that we're closest to, you have to show your driver's license when you vote. You don't have to re-register. But if you're going to register for the first time, just like any other important thing that you do in your life, you ought to have to go to a city hall and prove that you are a citizen in order to register to vote. Yep. I mean, that ought to be the floor in this country of doing that.
Well, you have to prove you're a citizen to get a driver's license, right?
No, they're giving out driver's licenses to non-citizens. That's part of the problem.
Yeah. Right,
Remember
right.
the CDL licenses that are going out to people who are not citizens, and they don't even understand the language. They're causing accidents from coast to coast. They're killing people. But hey, you know what? We're just giving them CDLs.
Well, that's a separate issue that should also be solved. I mean, we shouldn't be giving driver's licenses out to non-citizens. So I think if you can solve that problem, I don't necessarily see a problem with registering to vote when you get your driver's license inherently if the right people are getting their driver's license. To me, it's not an issue of how easy is it to vote. It's who are allowing to vote. Like you need to prove that you're a citizen. You need to be a citizen. I think there's a good argument for even something like one vote per household. That's a whole different conversation. But if you can actually reasonably narrow that down, then it should be as easy as possible for those people who can prove that they're actually those people.
Well, this is one state, New Jersey, where the governor, and when she starts her her little speech on that, she makes it clear that this happened 3 years before I was governor.
Yeah, not me, not me.
Not me. And I wonder, if the Democrats behind the scenes are like going, I don't know, it might be the whole Hillary Clinton thing,
Yep.
We don't know where she might end up, and she is in New Jersey. So that's one state. Those who came forward to say they weren't eligible, the question is how many more are there out there? And even the legacy media is lowering their shield. They've been protecting the Democrats for a very long time. Jonathan Karl, who has been a thorn in the side of Donald Trump, he definitely was in the first term. He's on with Virginia Senator Mark Warner, who's a Democrat, and I'm sure Warner thought he was in a safe space.
Vote to vote. Is this something that Democrats should get behind?
We have
80-some% of Americans, 71% of Democrats say they favor this?
You know what? In Virginia, we have voter ID and photo ID. I got to show my...
That's actually not the case. I mean, I'm a Virginia voter. You don't need to show a photo ID in Virginia. There are a wide range of things you can show for ID. And if you don't show one of those, you can sign an affidavit saying...
sign an affidavit.
But so it's not required.
And those become ballots that if you want to contest later can be contested. But you do have a variety of documents. But we have voter ID of one form or another.
But should that be a national standard? That you have to show an ID?
The irony here would be the case. If you can show any photo that is government stamped, would be fine. Certain states will say, we're going to let you show your NRA gun license, but you can't show your student ID.
You can show your NRA gun license. He's trying to find his... It's almost like he's drowning. And he's looking for the floor in the pool.
Right.
Oh, I found it. NRA card, right?
Not to mention that the phrase NRA gun license is totally nonsensical and doesn't make any sense at all. That's not how it works.
But do you get this, though? Jonathan Karl basically pushing back. He didn't let him get away with the lie.
Yeah.
And Mark Warner had a deer in the headlights look. It's like, oh, shit. He's not letting me lie to get away with this.
Right.
Yeah. So, and we've talked about California before. Biggest state in the union. Not only is there no photo ID required, I say this over and over again because I'm just incredulous. It is a crime to ask for it. If you're a poll worker and you say, I'm going to need to see a photo ID, you've committed a crime in California. That's just 180 degrees out of phase for me. Why are Democrats lined up against something that, as Jonathan Karl just said, 71% of their voters want? That's the question I'd ask. Why are you opposed to what 71% of your voters say that they want? New Jersey might be the crack that's going to let this truth spill out. We will see and we will hope. Back to illegals and the demonized effort to remove them. An attack on a federal building. Did you see this in New York by a deranged leftist? It was stirred up by Mamdani and Jeffries and all these people on the left who have basically told you that ICE agents are the brown shirts of Nazi America, that Donald Trump has sent these people in and they're essentially Nazis and they're there to terrorize America. You've said that over and over and over again, and then you are shocked when some leftist goes, well, I better go do something about this.
Was this the gas, like he poured gas on the ground or something like that?
He had all kinds of weapons. We got a little bit of video here to back that up. I want to start first with the New York Police Commissioner.
subdue him, and take him into federal custody. On the scene was recovered, among other things, 2 airsoft rifles and the container with the flammable liquid. Also affixed to the suspect's cart was a sign reading "ICE off our streets." During the incident, the suspect was wearing a military-style helmet. This incident occurred along federal property, and the NYPD is supporting the federal government in their investigations. Charges are yet to be filed. Our work with the Joint Terrorism Task Force and the Southern District of New York is critical to keeping our city safe, and I commend the federal agents and contractors and officers who responded to the threat.
Yeah. So you also heard from Mamdani and Jeffries. I couldn't find the video on that, but they were also very supportive and against any attack on federal buildings, federal agents, and that kind of thing, which is quite different from how they've ginned up what's happened so far. Tom Homan got pulled out of a meeting at the White House to address this, and we've got that.
I appreciate the comments from Mamdani and Jeffries, but too little too late. They spent a year attacking ICE, comparing ICE. So let's abolish ICE because they're fascists. ICE are Nazis. ICE are racist. ICE is a secret police. ICE isn't a real law enforcement agency. Fail to comply with ICE. I see the signs every protest resist. So look, they have educated people that they can resist ICE, and the hateful rhetoric continues, which we've had some tragedies recently because people didn't want to comply with ICE. So this is yet another example today, what happened in front of the federal buildings, another example of attacking ICE. And I'm sure if you ask that person why he did it, he can repeat the talking points I just said that you hear from Democratic members of Congress, the Democratic mayors and governors who simply want ICE to go away.
Yeah. So a reminder for you that Tom Homan, the guy that you just saw there, worked for Barack Obama. He was Obama's guy in dealing with ICE and dealing with illegal immigration. Now, this was a different time in America. This was when liberals and liberal late-night talk show hosts, they did ride-alongs with ICE. ICE is so cool. ICE is keeping America safe. ICE is getting rid of these illegal people who should not be here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's changed? What's changed is Donald Trump and the 4 years before with Joe Biden, where Obama was turning them away at the border, and Biden's like, come on in, come on in. He's flying them to the interior of the country. What could possibly go wrong there? Every bad actor on this planet was emptying their prisons and their insane asylums, the worst of the worst, and shipping them directly to the United States. What could possibly go wrong? That's why ICE has had to go into these communities, especially these so-called sanctuary cities where you've said, screw federal law, this is what we're going to do. And I keep going back to this deal that we had with the League of Women Voters, the candidate forum for 4, 5, and 6, and some of the things that were said there. It's like, my God, read the Constitution. The guy I'm running against said, well, you know, they shouldn't be here. We should resist at all costs because we have the 10th Amendment that says we can do whatever we want to do. And before I had a chance to correct him, Lon McDonald, who's running in District 4 on the Republican side, talked about the Supremacy Clause. Mm-hmm. And I wish I could have gotten back in there. I wish it were a real debate to where we could go back and forth on these things, because he is so wrong on this. That ICE is immigration and custom enforcement. They are there to take these people out of the country. And when you put a shield up and you say, hey, we're going to keep them here because we've got this sanctuary city, you're violating federal law. And you cannot violate federal law because of the Supremacy Clause in the Constitution. I forgot. There was one more thing I wanted to put in here, and that's a Mamdani Jeffrey little video here.
Some people did something. Yep, some people did something.
Some people did something.
But we have this under control. Yeah, it's all under control.
Has anyone seen my brother?
Some people did.
I have another clip too that I want to play.
Okay, go.
It's long, so I'll skip around
Just
a little
before the sun rises in the Windy City, immigration and customs enforcement agents fan out across Chicago to arrest criminals in the U.S. illegally.
Tac 1, Tac 2, Tac 3.
CNN was granted exclusive access to witness some of those raids.
People are involved with this operation particularly right now?
I have a 5-man arrest team here situated in this neighborhood here on the street. You see the stoop going up. I have a couple guys sitting right inside that stoop. This is part of what we do. Keep eyes on somebody and try to be as covert as we can.
So they're here doing a puff piece on ICE, doing raids in Chicago. CNN is.
What year was that?
Like 2012.
Mm-hmm.
2016. 2016. Yeah, so there you go.
Who was president?
I think it was Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's where his library is, in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
And you notice they're not wearing masks either. They don't have to hide their identities. They don't have anything to worry about.
Well, that's the argument that my opponents also made, that he wants to get in there and force them to unmask when they come here, despite the doxing that's gone on by the left, despite the fact that our sheriff, Darryl Forte, says he's not going to enforce that. It's not enforceable. They're just living in dreamland. And when I'm thinking about something that's dreamy, especially this time of day when we're doing this podcast, I'm thinking about lunch. And when I'm thinking about lunch, a lot of times I'm thinking about pizza. And the best pizza in this town is Fun House Pizza. Jim Dingman, he sent me a note, and he asked who was running for county executive on the Republican side. And I said, we've only got one, Alan Rolfing. And he says, well, I think I'm going to run. I'm going to be a write-in candidate. So I don't know if I get in trouble for that, but he's one of our sponsors. You want to write in Jim Dingman? Write in Jim Dingman. Dingman, he'd do a good job,
I'm sure he would.
Everybody in this town, pull your damn pants up, because that's going to be rule number one. It's definitely the rule when you go to Funhouse Pizza. 50 Highway Lee Summit, 7 Highway in Blue Springs. Eat in, carry out. Order online at funhousepizza.com. Heck, even get it delivered. They've got great pizza, cold drinks, fun atmosphere with all kinds of games. Book your team party and get all the coupons that you can on the website, too, at funhousepizza.com. Jim Dingman would make a fine Jackson County executive.
Tremendous people.
It'd be a different kind of Jackson County for sure. Michael Schroer is my real estate expert. I don't know if I got you the complete update last time, because I basically own a money pit in Blue Springs that at some point in the very near future, I want to offload to the next owner. I hope they're not listening to the podcast or watching the podcast, because that house has got a lot of problems. I'm going to put lipstick on the pig, and hopefully somebody's going to come in and buy it. And Michael is the guy I've been dealing with on the swimming pool, because it comes with this swimming pool. You think that's what a luxury item that you have. Well, let me just tell you, that swimming pool's in ground. It's almost 40 years old. It leaks like a sieve. It's got lots of problems.
Is it concrete?
It's concrete with a vinyl liner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
Leaks like a sieve. And the first estimate I got toward fixing that was $152,000. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Michael found me a guy who's going to put lipstick on the pig and solve the problem for the next 10 years. In other words, the next owner will have to deal with it for like $11,000. $11,152. That's a problem solved, and when you've got real estate, you got a problem that needs to be solved. Whether you're buying or selling, Michael Schroer is your guy. He's been to my house several times. We're working on a project. He is going to be the real estate agent of record when we finally get around to it, and he should be your guy too. He's moving property all over Jackson County. 816-373-8400. That's the number to get him. Michael Schroer with RE/MAX Elite in Lee's Summit. You can get him on his cell phone too, because he's not in the office. He's a guy who's out and about. He's taking care of problems, getting real estate moved at 816-520-9342. Grab him on his email. I'm sure the email goes right to his phone, just like the rest of us. michaelschroer56@gmail.com. You spell Michael like you would spell Michael, then Schroer is SCHROER, the number 56.com. Good guy. So, socialism update is the next little tranche of the program here. And I will say that when I found out who I was running against this fall, I thought he was a run-of-the-mill left-leaning Democrat. And I thought, well, you're going to have your own problems there because northeastern Jackson County is bright red. The people in Blue Springs, Grain Valley, Oak Grove, Buckner, Sibley, I mean, they just want adults in the room. That is a very low bar. That's where Jackson County is right now. Those voters just want adults in the room. They want sane government, block and tackle, do the things that the county should do, and that's it. And find a way to get my taxes down. Okay, well, now I found out about this guy because he posted he was going to do like this door-knocking campaign. We all do this. We try and get volunteers to show up. And after the fact, there were no pictures, which ought to tell you a lot. Mm-hmm. Second, he wanted to thank the DSA of Kansas City for coming out and door-knocking for him. Mm-hmm. You know what the DSA is?
Yeah, Democratic Socialists of America.
Right. The Democratic Socialists of America. So if they're out door-knocking for him, I must infer that he, too, is a socialist. And so I thought we should have a little section on socialism and find out if these people even know what they're getting behind.
I know I saw a statistic, amazing for you guys, more than half of young Americans now prefer socialism over capitalism. So if you can look into the camera and give a 30-second elevator pitch on why socialism is better than capitalism.
Community. Are you tired of sitting alone and being by yourself and having no one to talk to? Being a socialist is all about community. It's about literally sitting down and having coffee with a random stranger and talking to them, talking about the game. Hell, I have hugged more strangers in this past summer because of the Knicks game, because of the World Cup, because socialism works. It's the watch parties that Zoran hosted. It's about the parties that we allow. We don't have cops hogging every single site and saying, oh, you can't be here because there's too many people. Instead of allowing people just being in their nature, a natural element of talking to each other, to bond over things we love and share. So that's what socialism is. It ain't a scary word. It ain't me taking your house. It's about me making sure your house remains in your hands and some millionaire doesn't take it from you. That's it.
That's not exactly what socialism is, but you can understand why it sounds attractive. The pitch is simple. I'm going to stop your rent from going up. I'm going to protect you from the greedy landlords, and I'm going to keep you in your home. Yet it's under the socialist Mamdani where the median rent in New York City just hit an all-time high of nearly $5,300 a month. This is how it happens. First, Mamdani freezes the rent for nearly 1 million apartments. That means the landlord is legally blocked from raising prices, even if there's repairs or higher taxes. So some landlords can't afford to maintain the apartment. Then comes the final step. The government takes control and they call it social housing. But it just means the state uses the crisis it helped create as the excuse to take private property away from the owner. The most important thing is that in his pitch, he doesn't need any facts about socialism being better, which comes in handy because it's never worked.
Never worked.
Do you like fun? Do you like hanging out with your friends and drinking beer and camaraderie and hanging out with the boys? Do you like football? Do you like cake? Do you like hot, juicy steak? Then, boy, do I have a solution for you. Be a commie.
It's so naive. It's so naive. And at the risk of you going, okay, boomer, I mean, it just feels like this younger generation that really hasn't done anything. Like, no job. I mean, I live with one who's an avowed socialist now. He's a great socialist because he's living in my house, eating my food, driving a car he didn't drive or didn't buy. You know, I pay for his insurance with my buddy Bob Watson. Yeah, why wouldn't he be a socialist?
Yeah, especially with that pitch. I mean, that sounds very attractive.
Okay, so this guy might be just a hair smarter than the guy you just heard from. This is DSA New York co-chair Gustavo Cordillo, who puts a finer point on it.
Landlords in New York have been making a 12% return on their investment on average.
How much should they make? What's fair for the landlord to make if you don't like 12?
They're complaining that 12 is not enough. And we don't think that anyone should have a constitutional right to double-digit returns on their investment. That's why we've implemented...
Nope.
Whoa.
Exactly.
Do you not realize how crazy that sounds?
Yeah.
Anyone should have a right to a double-digit return on their investment.
No one has a right. That's not no.
What are you talking
no
about?
one's in that. That's not in the Constitution. But what we see is that when we implement a rent freeze, we have landlords who are crying that the government is going to put them out of
Well,
business.
they're trying to run a business.
Landlords in
Yeah, crazy.
Complete, they have a complete misunderstanding of our rights under the Constitution. The Constitution and the Declaration of Independence protects the individual from the government.
Mm-hmm.
The government is what we need to be protected from, not the other way around. These people want to set up the government, right? We're a people with a government, as Ronald Reagan said, not the other way around. And of course, their own platform trashes the current Constitution in favor of a centralized government. They want a House of Representatives. They want to abolish the Senate. I mean, they want to go a lot further than the Democrat Party. Right now, the Democrat Party would love to get rid of the filibuster, pack the Supreme Court. Well, these guys want to go further than that. Abolish the Senate, have one representative House, and that House picks the president, picks the Supreme Court justices, no matter how many there are. It's an upside down world, right? And then as was pointed out earlier, what happens when the landlords facing rent caps can't repair the building? Well, then the government takes over.
Yeah. Yeah, being a landlord is tough sledding, man. And it's not to say that there can't be negligent landlords or bad landlords.
Slumlords, there are.
Or people who are not taking care of their tenants. We're not just automatically on the side of the landlord either. It's a nuanced situation in which there's two parties that have to negotiate an agreement, and the renter is responsible for paying the rent, and the landlord is responsible for upkeeping the property. And if neither one of them upholds their end of the bargain, then there's going to be a dispute. But like, I always point this out with these people. They point out greed. This is like the greediest mentality ever. You don't have a right to make more than what I determine you're allowed to make on your investment.
Who determines?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
You think you know how to run my business more than I do? You think you have a right to the fruit of my labor more than I do? Get out of here.
What we talk about a lot on the podcast is that you have equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome, right? This country's all about your opportunity to do whatever you want based on what drives you from inside, right? Your ambition, your ability to go get an education, your willingness to go get an education, to try things and fail at things. I mean, that's what this country's built on. It's not built on equality of outcome. And we had a clip a couple of weeks ago, maybe, from someone talking about socialism, and she said, well, we don't mind you getting rich. We just don't think there should be any poor people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to fix all that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fix to that.
Yeah, it's total fairy tale land. And it's not to say that there's not problems like with quote unquote capitalism, and I say quote unquote because it's not really the free market. I mean, we do live in like an oligarchic economy right now where there's these massive tech companies, there's these people who have outsized control over the government, outsized control over industry. But a big part of the reason for that is partnership with the government. They're getting government contracts, they're getting bailouts from Wall Street and are from the government. I mean, we go back even to the auto industry bailouts under Obama.
Right.
Like that shouldn't be happening. If it was a truly free market, you said it yourself, it's an equal opportunity. If you fail, you fail. And failure is one of the biggest teaching moments in anyone's life. Even
Certainly
if it's
is.
not in business, it could be something personal, but if then the government's coming in and saying, well, you're quote unquote too big to fail, we're going to protect you, we're going to protect your industry. Well, then that's how you get one company that has a monopoly over the entire industry because nobody else gets that protection. So that's not the free market. That's actually the same sort of intervention that these people are seeking, but they just don't realize it.
Well, and they also have the misconception that the fruits of capitalism are finite, that if Elon Musk is a trillionaire, that means we got other people over here suffering. And that's not the case. The fruits of capitalism are not finite. Socialism will ultimately fail because you run out of rich people to pay for it. And the perfect laboratory for this is going to be New York City. New York City has always been our financial capital of the United States, but COVID proved a very valuable lesson that you don't need to be in New York to be in New York. You can have a stock exchange set up in Dallas, a much more tax-friendly environment than New York City. So what's going to be left in the largest city in the United States? You're going to have rent freeze. You're going to have Mamdani and his acolytes running the place. And the rich people who are going to pay for it, allegedly, are going to be out. I mean, they're leaving. They're leaving in droves. Not enough rich people to pay for it. What will they do then?
Yep.
By the way, I had one other note here under socialism, an inside baseball thing here for our No Kings folks, because I know some No Kings folks hate listen to the podcast, hate follow us on social media. You might want to move your rally to Nicaragua. I don't know if you heard this or not, but Daniel Ortega, who has been the president of Nicaragua for how long? When Ronald Reagan was president, Daniel Ortega was around. Daniel Ortega has announced there will be no further elections in Nicaragua. No more further elections. We don't want to take even a remote chance that somebody would be dumb enough to run against me and end up in a ditch somewhere with 5 bullets in the back of his head. So we're just going to do away with elections. So maybe you should have your No Kings rally there.
Yeah. Take it up with them, I guess.
Good luck to you. I wouldn't recommend it. So Max Motors, one of our American sponsors here of the podcast, a guy who's doing car sales different than anybody else ever has. Usually you get your car dealership over here. You decide, hey, I want to buy a Ford. I'm going to go to the Ford dealership. They're going to look at my car, tell me what it's worth, and then I'm going to sit at the car dealer all day. Have you ever done that, Kurt?
No, I haven't, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, when you buy a new car, that's the process normally. You just block out a day for it because you're going to be there all day long. Well, Mark Muller at Max Motors and MaxMotors.com, they've done it differently. They have their dealerships scattered in the outskirts of the metro area. And if you don't want to drive out there to get the best deal that you can get, they will drive the car to you. So you go to the website, MaxMotors.com, and you find the American-made vehicle that you want to drive. Find the one that you like. They're all fantastic. Mark and his team will drive that car to you. That's the complete flip side of how this has ever been done. The Max dealerships are in Richmond, Clinton, Butler, and Nevada. Small towns, low overhead. They beat the big city guys every time. And again, they're setting themselves up to be the Amazon of car dealers. You pick the one you want, they'll drive it to you. The easiest place to buy your next car. Small town American values, God, family, and country. And Mark says, hey, if you don't buy from me, at least buy American. And then when you've got that brand new car, with the warranty, you want to take care of it, because if you don't take care of it, you're going to find yourself with a car payment and something that's not worth anything. That's where my friend Tim Porter comes in at Christian Brothers Automotive. They are on the web at christianbrothersauto.com. They are independently owned and operated. Tim is my friend. He works on my cars right there in Independence. And we've all taken our car to a garage somewhere. When you go to Christian Brothers, look at that building. Look how beautiful that building is. It's clean. They're going to take care of you from the time you drop that car off, and they're going to walk you through it every step of the way, even if you know as little about cars as I do. One thing I know is a value: 3 years, 36,000-mile warranty on whatever repairs they make, whichever benefits you the most. They work on everything, including hybrid and electric vehicles. They will take care of your cars, and when you take care of your car, it'll take care of you. So start with that first oil change, tire rotation, and you'll see what I know, that Tim Porter and his team at Christian Brothers and Independence right there on 40 Highway will take care of you. 816-795-6811. That is the number to call to get that process started. And again, find the location nearest you at christianbrothersauto.com. But when you go, make sure you tell them that you heard about them here on our little podcast. Upside Down America. Upside Down. So I saved this story because it jumped out at me because I thought of another story almost immediately. Here's the story. Today Show co-anchor Craig Melvin. Do you know who that is?
Nope.
I don't watch the Today Show because I'm on the air doing my little radio show on KFKF while they're on the air. Well, anyway, an intruder came into the New York studios and apparently called this, I guess he's a person of color, Craig Melvin. I wouldn't know him if he were in a police lineup. Not that he ever would be. So this guy came in and called Craig Melvin a lot of racist names, which we don't condone, would never want that to happen. Well, the guy's name is Andrew Truelove, and he's now charged with hate crimes because he got past security at 30 Rock and he yelled at the guy. That's a hate crime. He reportedly also asked to talk to Al Roker, who I do know what Al Roker looks like, and I guess he was going to yell racist things at Al Roker. Now, why that caught my ear, remember the United Healthcare CEO?
Yes.
The guy who was gunned down in cold blood in New York? Mm-hmm. On video. I mean, there's not even a question about this. He was shot in the back of the head by a guy who was subsequently arrested. There are people on the left who say AOC's one of them, or like, well, I mean, he got his claim denied.
Right.
You guys, I mean, you know, when you deny the claim.
He's an evil healthcare CEO.
Yeah.
He had it coming.
He got a bullet to the back of the head.
They may say that, but they may not say that, but they certainly imply that.
Yeah. There are Democrats basically defending that action. Are the same ones who say, what? You called the guy a bad racist name? That's a hate crime. And I know you love to say, define a love crime for me.
Right.
But, you know, it's out of balance. I mean, is that bad taste? Should he be, you know, ticketed for trespassing and that sort of a thing? I don't know. What's the hate crime get him? Is that like 20 years in prison?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we're certainly going in that direction. It's already happening in certain cases, and then it's definitely happening across the pond. You know, you get arrested for social media posts and stuff like that. I mean, that's coming here anytime now.
All right. Well, I just perspective on these things. This guy was shot, and there are people on the left who are defending him, and then this guy goes in here and says some unkind things to somebody, and he's going to be.
And he has to notice too. He has to put a post on social media like, "I'm okay. I'm, you know, traumatized, but I'm okay." You know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean. There's a little bit of a gray area because if somebody comes into your workplace, you know, is acting aggressive or whatever, I mean, there is an implicit threat there. So it's not to say that he has no reason at all to be justified in feeling.
I'm not defending what he did.
No,
I'm just talking about proportion.
Right. And what I'm saying is, you know, the Melvin guy or whatever, if some guy comes in and like is acting crazy, you know, you have a reason to be in fear a little bit of what this guy's going to do. But, you know, just the words themselves, like somebody says something mean to you or whatever. I mean, do you really have to like go out and, you know, put up a post like, I'm fine, it's okay. You know, I got called a mean word, but you know, I'm going to get over it. I persevere. It's like, all right.
You know, one of the guys who's running for the Jackson County at-large seat, I guess somebody said some mean things to him on his door-to-door, and he is a person of color. So he of course filmed it all and put it up, trying to get some sympathy out of the whole thing. I mean, I did door-to-door in Buckner, and I knocked on one door, and through the door I heard, "Get off my porch, we don't vote!" And I was in fear for my life. Did I go on social media and go, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be fine? I just kind of laughed it off and I went to the next house. I mean, come on. Grow up, people. So CNBC, they did a poll. I've held on to this for a couple of weeks, but now we've got room for it. They cited the worst states to live in America, the worst 10. And I saw a theme as I was going through these states. Here are the 10 in order. Tennessee, Texas, Indiana, my home state, Louisiana, Georgia, Utah, Missouri, where many of us live now, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Those are the 10 worst states to live in, according to a CNBC poll. What do they all have in common?
Well, I think they're mostly red states, right? Or all red states?
I think they're all red states, which, and when you look at the polling, that's why you have to always be cautious about polling. It was all based on things like green energy and things like that would lend itself toward the blue states. But the fact of the matter is, people in New York and California, and maybe Washington and Oregon too, especially on the coast in those cities, they're trying like hell to get out of there. The U-Haul can't get enough trucks to those places for people to drive to Tennessee and Texas and Missouri. We'd love to have more folks in Missouri as well. I saw that poll and it's like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
It says here in the article, crime rates, air quality, healthcare access, worker protections, and civil rights laws are among factors that can hurt a state in quality of life rankings.
Where would you rather live?
I mean, I love living here.
Yeah.
Arkansas is one of the most underrated states in the country as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. We drove down there. We were thinking, we're looking for different retirement places. The reason I'm not going to pick Arkansas is because there was a sign on the highway that said bridges freeze before roadways. And where I'm retiring, they won't need signs like that.
Yeah, right.
If you have a sign like that, that means it could happen.
Yeah. It could freeze. Yeah.
So we're not going to have that. That's not going to happen.
Not warm enough.
So, Arkansas is a beautiful state. In fact, looking at these, I think I've been to all of these states, and they all have benefits. They all have really good people who are living there.
Utah is great too.
It is.
Mormonism aside, we love our Mormons. Frankly, just confuse people. It's okay.
I have not been in Utah other than the Salt Lake City airport, but they got big windows there, and the state looks really pretty. So
I've never been to Alabama.
Really?
I've been through Indiana, but never to Indiana.
I spent 28 years there, so I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
I lived in Connecticut. I can tell you a lot about that. That's not on the list of the worst states out there, but trust me, you don't want to be in a place like Bridgeport, Connecticut after dark.
I love how in this article too, it's like about the worst states in America. And they have Indiana on the list of worst states in America. And then the picture is like a white family. It's like, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this terrible white family.
Evil.
They're going to terrorize you.
This country would be so much better if all the white people just left. That would be fantastic. Okay, so is AOC running for president? There's polling out there. Right now, there's polling that says that she is the lead Democrat in certain polls for the nomination in 2028. It wasn't that long ago that she was a bartender who couldn't figure out. Remember when we played the video? I'm pretty sure we did this, of her trying to use a garbage disposal in her apartment. She didn't know what the sound was.
Right.
And it wasn't funny. I mean, she wasn't joking. She really didn't know what it was. Okay, so AOC, someone who I guess is running to be president in 2028, has a very firm grasp of American history.
Support the filibuster. I don't support elements of this institution that we know, were founded on
slavery,
Jim Crow.
You didn't have Jim Crow on your bingo card?
No, that would have been my second guess.
Yeah. Did you know the Senate of the United States was founded on Jim Crow laws?
It's news to me.
I mean, I didn't know that. As far as the filibuster goes, if it's bad, why aren't Republicans getting rid of it right now? Because if control of Congress is hanging by a thread and the Democrats are going to take over anyway, they've already given you the playbook. They're going to get rid of the filibuster. Get rid of the filibuster.
Right.
What are you standing on? You standing on ceremony? I mean, we traditionally, on the Republican side of things, don't act. We react, right?
We complain.
We react, though, because it was the Democrats who got rid of the filibuster for federal court judges. Republicans, like Mitch McConnell said, you probably don't want to do that, because if you do that, here's what's going to happen with the Supreme Court. Harry Reid did it anyway. So instead of acting at that point, they reacted. We got some really great justices on the Supreme Court as a result. But, I mean, they're telling you, they're giving you the game plan. Get rid of the filibuster. One more on AOC. She's making the rounds around the country. And in the tradition of Hillary's, do you remember the Hillary speech? I don't feel no ways tired.
I saw this posted, but I didn't watch it. So
yeah. Kamala, matching her accent to the crowd. AOC, the former New York City bartender, found her Southern roots down in Tennessee.
Cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind, South Carolina behind. We cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind.
Yeah.
We cannot afford to leave.
Tennessee, by the way, one of the worst states in the country. She mentioned Georgia, one of the worst states in the country, according to CNBC.
Here's my question on this.
She had a lot of behinds in there.
Yeah,
I like me a behind. You like a behind?
Behind. Can't leave no state behind.
I like me a behind.
Do you think that is like a deliberate tactic? Do you think that her advisors are saying, okay, so we're going to go speak to a bunch of black people in Georgia, and you need to put on the affect so that you can be relatable. Like, do you think that's an intentional thing, or do you think that they're inherently just pandering to a level that they just do it automatically?
I can't remember the movie that I saw. I think it was Ides of March with George Clooney, where he was running for president. And he went through this whole thing of, the scuff on my shoe. There's somebody who comes in and weighs in on how much it should be scuffed versus polished.
Right.
So at that level, I think there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
By the way, I did put the Hillary clip in here. We should go back and remember that just for fun.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
Gosh,
is that cringeworthy?
So bad, dude.
Do you think she practiced that in front of a mirror?
I don't. It's like, it's not. She got the pacing right, but the voice is like so off. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't feel no ways tired. I'm just like you. I love fried chicken. It's like
and hot sauce. Man. Remember that when she was on that podcast?
Yeah. She keeps the hot sauce.
Keeps
in her
the
pocket.
Hot sauce right in there.
I'm like yelling. I love fried chicken. My family's downstairs. Like, what the heck is going on?
What's going on up there? They're having too much fun. Okay, one more little tidbit from the kicker here. Sunny Hostin. We like to make fun of her on The View. She pulls the "Do you know who I am" card when her kid gets busted for trespassing.
How are you? This is my son. How you doing? Good job, sir. He was walking along the tracks.
Just on a run, on a walk, and the gate was open. I was like,
Sounds like an honest mistake. He's on the phone with me. Action. Yeah. I'm a former federal prosecutor. Yeah. He knows. He's a Harvard grad who teaches fourth grade geometry to kids. God bless. This is not a kid who's ever in trouble. It's an innocent mistake. I understand you have to it's give not him a I don't know what violation, happened, but yeah, whatever. It's not the end of the world. I get you. Where were you Where'd you go? You were like over here?
So there's like an open gate. I think I was walking over there.
Just walking. Nice day. Well, we were talking on the phone. I know. I had a big interview today. We were talking about it. Gotcha. You live in the area? Yeah, we live on. Oh, okay, we used to live in Purchase, and we just moved here in September. Oh, nice. Yeah, very nice. So we're new to the area, which is why he's making mistakes. Because
I'm a big deal. I'm a big deal.
That doesn't seem that bad to me, honestly.
Former federal prosecutor. Maybe you've seen me on The View. I was doing a big interview and.
Yeah, she says that, but it's like kind of in passing. And then the former federal prosecutor thing. I mean, it's like, I would say that if I was in that position and my kid was, in trouble and I'm trying to stick up for him or whatever. I mean, I don't see that as that big of a deal.
You're a better parent than I am. I told my kids when I was on the Blue Springs City Council, if and when you get pulled over for speeding, do not drop my name. You got to live with your own consequences and stuff like that.
No, I agree. I agree with you there. For sure. I'm just, I don't think that was that bad.
All right. There you go. I guess I was picking on Sonny Hostin for no particular
Quit
reason.
being so mean.
I think you'll like the kicker here that we're going to get to in a moment. But first, we want to tell you about Royal Roofing and Solar. Austin Watterson and his team, they are fixing roofs all over the Midwest with Tamco Hail Guard. It's beyond Class 4, and we need it in the Tornado Alley, in the Hailstorm Alley. So if you're ready to upgrade your roof, at least get it inspected. Get a reputable firm like Royal Roofing and Solar on your roof. Let Austin take a look at it. They will be honest with you. They'll shoot you straight. He did the roof on my house. I've known him for a very long time. Great family there in Cass County, but they do this all over the Midwest now. Roofedbyroyal.com at 816-540-7057. If you need a new roof, they're going to offer you Tamco Hail Guard. And again, it's beyond Class 4. So it's going to take care of your family, and the biggest investment that you have is your house. And when your house has got a roof on it, the rest of it will take care of itself. I know this because of my money pit in Blue Springs. At the very least, it has the best roof in the world on it from my friends at roofedbyroyal.com. So get Austin up on that roof. I don't know if he'll go up on the roof. Actually, he's got a team of folks who'll go up on the roof.
Yep.
Yeah, and they'll check it out. And then when you get the right roof on your house, a guy like Bob Watson, who's taken care of my family from an insurance perspective for the last 31 years, he's going to be really, really happy. Because if you've got the right roof on the house, the chances of anything else going wrong are less. So your rates will come down when you get the right roof on your house. Ask Bob about that. Get a rate quote today. Bundle your home and car insurance. You'll save even more. Bob's phone number is 816-229-7878. 7th and Main in Blue Springs. Auto, home, life, commercial insurance. Anything that's important enough for you to insure. They do pet insurance now. And boy, I know about that too from taking our dog to the all-night surgery center in Mission, Kansas, that pet insurance might well be the way to go. Licensed in both Missouri and Kansas, like a good neighbor, Bob Watson and State Farm is there. So she, which I put in quotes, wanted to replace Graham Plattner on the ballot in Maine. I want you to meet the lovely Ashley Webb.
Webb, what qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now. Like, we get lied to, smoke and mirrors, like what's going on with ICE. Pretending like these victims did something wrong. Like, that's unacceptable. And I suppose the biggest thing is, like, I'm just an angry citizen now, and if I got elected, I'd be an angry senator, and I think that would probably be their worst nightmare.
I had a nightmare after watching this clip.
Lord have mercy.
You remember the rock singer Meatloaf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Meatloaf.
Ashley looks like Meatloaf. Webb further claims that she's all woman. She menstruates from her rectum.
Mr. Tough Guy.
I mean, there might be another reason for that. I don't want to speculate. Sadly, she won't be on the ballot against Susan Collins in Maine. Troy Jackson, who's a former Republican turned Democrat and is as radical as Plattner, will face Collins. And I find this ironic that they really want to try and pick off Susan Collins, who is one of the most liberal Republicans in the Senate. You know, she's the three that usually go against Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're going to try and claim that scalp. But it won't be with Ashley Webb, who now there are videos all over the place on the lovely Ashley Webb. And now she, quote unquote, has made an appearance on Dale Carter's America. Probably the last one, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. We definitely don't want to see never mind. We're just going to move right along here. Nothing to see. Until next week, we'll have a special guest coming in, running for the Jackson County Executive on the Democrat side. Tarwater is going to be here, and he'll have his views on the podcast. So until next week, this is Dale Carter's America.
The views expressed on Dale Carter's America are Dale's and Kurt Wheeler's. They do not necessarily reflect the views of KFKF or Steel City Media. Comments can be sent to dalecartersamerica@gmail.com. Check back for weekly episodes. Subscribe, spread the word, and give us a 5-star review. Thanks for being a part of Dale Carter's America.